Good evening. This is Making the Case. I'm Yodit Tewolde. We begin tonight in Brooklyn City, Minnesota, where the trial of Kim Potter began today. She's the former officer who killed Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old black man, during a traffic stop back in April. Daunte was shot and killed just a few miles away from the courthouse where Derek Chauvin was on trial for the murder of George Floyd. Now that same courtroom is where Kim Potter is being tried. Potter was heard on body cam video yelling "Taser, Taser, Taser" just moments before she shot Daunte, and has since claimed she grabbed her gun by mistake. The former Brooklyn police officer faces 2 charges of first and second degree manslaughter. Here to help unpack day 1 of this trial are my panel of lawyers: Bernarda Villalona, a former senior homicide prosecutor, and jury consultant Robert Swafford. Welcome back, you two. Let's get right to it. In her opening statement, 2 jurors, Assistant Attorney General Aaron Eldridge, started with what an officer's fundamental duty is, that it's to protect the sanctity of life. They went into all the ways Kim Potter failed to uphold that duty when she failed to protect the life of Daunte Wright. How did the prosecution do in their opening? Bernarda, did they get off to a strong start?
Absolutely. The prosecution got into a strong start, and the reason they got into a strong start because they started emphasizing on former officer Kim Potter's experience and the number of years of her experience. In fact, the classic line from her opening statement was, Kim Potter was on the force for more years longer than the life of Daunte Wright. That was a mic drop moment because it goes to show you the experience that this former officer had. And with that experience, she betrayed her badge and she failed Daunte Wright and the people of that community. And there are no do-overs.
Now, speaking of the emphasis on Potter's experience, the prosecution also emphasized her role as a training officer on the day in question. Obviously an attempt to undermine the defense's claim that the defendant made a mistake. Take a listen.
She was the 26-year veteran. She was the officer in charge. And it was her job to show Officer Lucky how it's done. And what did she show him? She showed him how to kill someone. There is no do-over when you walk the streets with a loaded firearm. When you're entrusted with a deadly weapon as part of your job, there's no do-over when you take a young man's life.
Robert, despite what many in the community wanted, the prosecution didn't charge Potter with murder because they didn't believe this was an intentional killing. And I agree. I mean, there was no evidence to support a murder charge. However, her reckless actions, especially given her years of experience, should be considered criminal. Without proving someone intentionally wanted to take a life, will a jury be willing to convict this woman, an officer who appears to be a good person, over a mistake?
Well, so it depends on who is on the jury. So if you have a group of people who are on the jury who are focused on the victim and are willing to blame the victim, engage in victim blaming, then at some point those type of jurors would be willing to give her a pass and feel sympathetic toward her instead of feeling sympathetic toward the family of the person who's lost their life. And if you look at the defense, you can see that the defense is already playing into that narrative of trying to blame the victim. And so one of the things that we do whenever we're doing jury selection in these excessive force cases is to ask questions that try to identify those people. Ask questions such as, who here believes that most of the excessive force cases would not have happened if the deceased or if the injured person had just complied with officer orders. And so by asking questions like that during voir dire, you can identify people who have that kind of that kind of inclination to blame the victim.
Bernarda, your thoughts?
I hate when I see cases where defense attorneys start victim blaming. That really is upsetting because regardless of anyone's past, they didn't ask or deserve to have their life taken away from them. And I just hope that because in Minnesota, where they have that spark of life testimony, that witness that's going to come in and testify and tell you about who Daunte Wright was, you even heard from his mother, that they're going to bring life into Daunte Wright and take away that narrative that he was a bad man, he had prior convictions, he did it to himself. So it's upsetting to me. And I hope the jury sees it the same way.
Now, the prosecution also played some of Potter's body cam footage taken during the failed arrest. In the video, Potter can be heard saying, quote, "I shot him, I'm going to prison, I killed a boy." Bernarda, another follow-up for you. These exclamations made by the defendant after the shooting, it could hurt the defense, right?
Absolutely. And actually, if I was a prosecutor doing closing arguments, what I would do is use those exact words instead of taser, taser, taser. I will focus on the part that she says, "I'm going to prison and I'm going to take it to a next level." She said she was going to prison, a 26-year veteran, because she knew what she did was criminally wrong. And the criminal charges in regards to being criminally wrong were the ones that she was charged with and that the jury had to decide. And she even knew that she was guilty on that day. And now it's time for you, jury, to say that she is guilty.
Robert, could this hurt Potter with the jury? Because she seemed to be more concerned about her getting in trouble than what had just happened to Daunte. I mean, the defendant does plan to take the stand, so she could attempt to put those statements into better context, which could redeem herself with jurors.
Yeah, so the thing that's interesting about that is the emphasis. Instead of, "Oh my," she did say, I killed someone." I mean, like she did get that across, but it was very interesting that it immediately went to me. What's going to happen to me? Not what have I done? The impact, I'm going to jail. So I agree with you that does sort of cut against some of the sympathy that people may feel toward her, or some jurors might feel toward her, as somebody who had made a mistake and felt bad about the horrible mistake they had made.
All right, guys, let's go to the defense's opening statements. Paul Eng, who regularly defends police officers, portrayed Daunte's death as a horrible mistake with a tragic outcome, but it wasn't a crime. They also focused their attention on Daunte's actions during the traffic stop, specifically the moment when he resisted arrest, got back in the car, and tried driving away. Take a listen.
Mr. Wright can stop. All he has to do is stop, and he'd be with us. But he goes. She can't let him leave, because he's going to kill her partner. And so she does taser, 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 and she pulls the trigger, believing that it was a taser.
Bernarda, the defense argued that in a situation where someone is resisting arrest and in her attempt to help keep her partner safe, that Potter made a mistake, that if only Daunte surrendered, he'd be alive. He's probably right. And trying to run from officers is never a good idea. But what confuses me here is that the defense can call what a 26-year veteran did in confusing her gun from her taser a mistake. But a 20-year-old boy, which is how Potter described him, can't make a mistake. I mean, especially one that shouldn't have cost him his life.
Exactly. And that is exactly what is so frustrating. So you're taking all of the limelight from Officer Potter and saying, "You know what, Daunte Wright, you did it to yourself. You didn't follow the rules. You should have known better. You know not to move. You know to be quiet and submissive when it comes to a police stop," as opposed to, wait, we have this grown woman, almost 50 years old, who's been on the force longer than Daunte has had life. So instead of her, with her profession and her catering herself and tailoring herself to the situation, it's Daunte's fault. But I will flip it. Flip it in the sense of, guess what? You had Officer Lucky plus the officer that was on the other side. Neither of those two officers, who were the most closest to Daunte Wright, saw that there was a need to bring a weapon into the situation. I don't care if it was a taser, even though it was a gun that she ended up reaching out to. Neither of those two were warranted. And in terms of, she wanted to protect her partner, her fellow officer. Ma'am, you almost took the life of Officer Lucky. Officer Lucky earned his last name on that day because he's lucky that he didn't die as a result of his training officer.